Hello, beautiful. I'm going to share with you my personal story with breast implants, breast implant illness, and recovering from an explant surgery. But the story I'm about to share is not unique, it's not rare, and in fact, I have heard a very similar story thousands of times at this point. So I am 4 years post-explant. And in this video, I want to share with you my story about what I've gone through with breast implants and breast implant illness and preparing for and recovering from an explant surgery, what I've learned. And I also want to share with you what has improved and what has popped up over the last 4 years. So let's get to it. But before we do that, if you are new to me or new to my channel, welcome. My name is Christina. I'm the founder of Size Happy, the admin of the best Facebook group on Facebook, Breast Implant Illness, Rejuvenation, and Education with Christina. And you can also find me on Instagram at I am Size Happy. So where I want to start is my teenage years. And I want to start from the beginning and kind of take you through this journey with me up to this point, which is 4 years after I removed my breast implants. So where did it start? Like a lot of women or young girls, when I was in my teenage years, I just didn't develop big breasts. And I am a child of the 90s and the 2000s. You know, I was in high school around those years. I watched a lot of MTV. So I saw Pamela Anderson, Jenny McCarthy, Carmen Electra, just like all these really beautiful women. And they all had breast implants. Back then, it was normal to do. If you didn't have breasts, if you didn't develop breasts, just go buy some breast implants. We were always told it was safe and it was like the norm. You know, it wasn't looked down on like getting a tattoo or something like that, right? Or body modification or anything. It's just like, yeah, go buy yourself some breast implants. So I decided when I was 19 that I was going to get breast implants. And I was like, whenever I can afford them, I'm definitely gonna get them. Like I made the decision that I really wanted to have them. So when I was 23, I had the money to do so. And what I was hoping they would do is improve my confidence, just make me feel whole, make me feel like a woman and like I'm worthy and like I'm attractive. I was really hoping that they would just fix my bad body image. Because in my late teens, early 20s, I struggled with eating disorders. I was more along the like restrictive side of things where I was just dieting down because again, this was the late 90s, early 2000s, and back then it was just being really skinny. So I was just exposed to that, that norm, that like standard, that expectation that you diet and you exercise and you just get skinny, right? So I was just hoping that after I got the breast implants, I would stop picking on my body and I would just be happy and I would go on with my life and everything would be great. And I would find the man of my dreams and just go on wearing whatever I wanted to and all of that. And I will say, after I got my breast implants in 2006, I was just a few months shy of my 24th birthday. They did do that. They did improve my confidence. I was really happy with my decision. I felt good in my body. I was wearing really cute bathing suits and really cute lingerie and really cute clothes, like things that I didn't have the confidence or the courage to wear when I was an A cup. And I love the way they look. I didn't have any issues with them at all for the first 5 years. And then in 2011, I had my son. And after I had my son was when I just felt a lot more tired every day and a lot more brain foggy, just like a slow brain, you know, having trouble remembering things and recalling things. And I just chalked it up to being a new mom. Maybe I was hormonal. I was always used to working out of the house. I was a personal trainer and I was a server at a restaurant. So I was always out of the house. I was always moving. I was always around people and talking with people. And then I became a stay-at-home mom and the house was quiet and I didn't really do much. And so I just thought, oh, maybe I'm just bored and it's hormones, you know, and all of that. But over the years, the fatigue and the brain fog never went away. It just didn't really improve. And over these next few years, I was heavy into fitness. I competed in a couple fitness competitions, like lived that kind of lifestyle, took very good care of my body. And after my last competition in 2014, like a month later, I developed a swollen lymph node underneath my right armpit. And that's my first real, looking back, that's my first real like symptom of something's going on with my body. Because as we know, your lymph nodes don't just swell and get tender for no reason. It's typically from your body fighting something like, you know, a virus or fungus or cancer cells, you know, it's just, that's what happens. It's a healthy response to your body fighting something. So got done competing in the fitness competition, and then got the swollen lymph node, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? Went to my gynecologist, and she felt around, and it was so tender. It hurt so bad. I don't know if any of you have ever had swollen lymph nodes, but it hurts. She felt around and she's like, yeah, it looks like a swollen lymph node. It feels like a swollen lymph node. Your body's just probably fighting something. If it goes away and then comes back, definitely go see your doctor. So I was like, okay, you know, she didn't seem concerned. So I wasn't concerned. And I was like, okay, you know, it's, you know, I just got done competing. My immune system's probably low, whatever it may be. Went on with my day, went on with my life, and it did end up going away. But then 2 months later, in December of 2014, it came back. And that's when I was like, okay, something is definitely going on with my body. Went to my doctor, January 2015. And again, she looked around, poked around, and it was so sore. And she's like, yeah, it looks like a swollen lymph node. Your body's just probably fighting something. And she put me on antibiotics and an antiviral. And neither of those two things did anything for the swollen lymph node. It just made me feel really loopy. And right around this time, so we're talking January 2015, I was already dealing with the fatigue and the brain fog, and then now I have the swollen lymph node, and I was also dealing with now a massive amount of anxiety and depression bouts, having a hard time sleeping. My hair started to fall out so much that I hated to shower. I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna go in the shower and all this hair is gonna fall out. I dreaded taking a shower. That's how much hair I was losing. My eyes started to get a lot more blurry. My fatigue and brain fog got like 100 times worse. I started to get some hip joint pain in my right hip area. So like for me, it was weird because a lot of my physical symptoms were on the right side. So it was like my right eye was a lot worse than my left eye. Then I had my right lymph node in my armpit. My right hip joint was just achy and stiff and it hurt. And I was like, what is going on with me? In 2015, I just turned 32. I was young. I was healthy. I was doing like all the right things, but my body was literally falling apart in front of my eyes. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was in and out of my doctor so many times that year, just trying to figure out like, should we look into my hormones? Should we look into my thyroid? We looked into like everything you have probably looked into if you're dealing with breast implant illness right now. And you're just trying to figure out like, what is going on with you? Looked into everything, and everything always came back within a normal level, or, you know, maybe slightly elevated, but nothing to be worried about. The only thing that we did find that I had was something called the Epstein-Barr virus, which like 90% of the population has. And for a majority of people, it just remains dormant for most of their life. And it can get triggered or activated when you're under a very stressful situation or when your immune system is compromised. Both of those two things I was definitely going through. So we did find out I had the Epstein-Barr virus, and my doctor actually didn't even prescribe me anything for that, looking back. Like, she didn't give me any Valtrex or anything for it. She's just like, yeah, looks like you have Epstein-Barr virus. That probably explains your fatigue, you know, and that was that. Horrible doctor. But anyway, so, you know, it's just like one month, I was fine, living my life, doing fitness competitions. And then within 6 months, no joke, the fatigue, the brain fog, the swollen lymph nodes, the anxiety, the depression, the hip joint pain, my hair's falling out, like all of this stuff. So that's when I really started to research about toxins and just like the body and all of this stuff, which is like one of the blessings that came out of going through this, was what it taught me about health and about toxins and just all of that. And so I cleaned up my diet, I cleaned up my household cleaning products, I cleaned up my makeup, I, did all these detoxes, and like nothing was making me feel better for a long time. Like I would feel like a little zap of energy here and there, but then I would just go right back to feeling like shit, honestly. And went on like this for years. So 2015 came, 2016 came, 2017 came, still feeling the same. For me, I just kind of accepted it and I adjusted and I adapted and I said, like, I don't know. This is just how I feel. This is just how I feel. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is, So went on living like that. For me, it was so bad that one New Year's Eve, I remember the ball dropping. And I was with my husband and my sister-in-law and my son, and the ball was dropping. And I thought to myself, this might be the last year that I see this ball drop because I don't know if I'm gonna make it through next year. That is how bad I felt at this time. I literally felt like I was dying, like my body was falling apart, like I had a rare cancer that we just couldn't figure out. I thought I had lymphoma or leukemia because of my lymph nodes, and my white blood cells were always like on the low side, but then my monocytes were always very elevated. So for me, like my blood tests were always a little abnormal. And I was just like, I don't know, like I just know I don't feel good. I know I don't feel normal. I know something's wrong with me. Like that's all I knew. I just couldn't figure it out, and neither could my doctors. Jump ahead to 2017. This is now like 3 years into me not feeling good. The news was on downstairs, and there was a handful of women on the news, and they were talking about two things I never heard about before. They were talking about breast implant illness, and they were talking about explant surgery. And what caught my attention was they were talking about all these symptoms that they had: fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, hair loss, blurry vision, anxiety, depression. And I was like, hold up, like I have all of those symptoms. And then they were talking about how they had breast implants. They removed their breast implants and all of their symptoms either improved or completely went away. And it was something that they were calling breast implant illness. I was floored. I was like, that is what's wrong with me, because I have tried everything I could think about. I have cleaned up in my house, in my exterior environment, everything I can think of, and nothing was working. That is what's wrong with me. When I learned about what breast implants were made out of, when I learned about what they do to the body, it was like a no-brainer for me. I was like, those things are coming out of me. I can't believe those are even legal to get implanted inside of anybody. And for me, it was like a relief. But then of course, there's always like that nervousness, right? Of like, what if I do this and nothing gets better? What if I do this and I get worse, right? Like there's all the what ifs, right? It's a huge risk that we take when we remove our breast implants. But you have to understand, for all of us who are sick and have tried everything, it is a risk worth taking, especially after knowing what these breast implants are made out of and how toxic they are, and what they do to our neurological system, our lymphatic system, our immune system, our cardiovascular system, our heart, our lungs, our liver, our kidneys, our guts, our digestive system. Nothing goes untouched when you have breast implants. If you want some breast implant and some breast implant illness education, you can just go back into some videos here on my YouTube channel. I've pretty much touched upon every topic you can think of in regards to this, but today I just want to share my story. So after I discovered breast implant illness, I went to my husband and I was like, honey, I think I found out what is wrong with me. And of course, after years of trying different things, he's like, like, what is it? And I was like, I think my breast implants are what's making me sick. And I showed him what breast implants are made out of from the FDA's website. I showed him like what they could do to the body from a website. And then I went inside of some Facebook groups. And when I went inside the Facebook groups, I felt validated, heard, understood for the first time in years. And again, I was floored by what I was reading. I was like, I could have wrote that story. Like, our stories are so similar that it's not a coincidence. And especially after we explant and we get better, not a coincidence. I know they're looking for proof of breast implant illness, but I'm telling you, I am the proof. All I did was remove my breast implants and I got better. I did not change my diet, did not change my lifestyle. I did not buy some fancy equipment to detox. I didn't do anything. I removed my breast implants and I got better, just like a lot of other women. So found out about this and a year went by just because of life and stuff. And I had the last symptom that popped up was gasping for air. I'm upstairs doing laundry and I'm gasping for air. I'm just like, I just couldn't get a satisfying breath. And it's so scary. A lot of us go through this. And I went to my husband, and this was probably like June of 2018. I went to my husband and I was like, honey, I'm in the bedroom doing laundry and I'm gasping for air. I have hip joint pain every single day. I'm losing my hair. I have bouts of anxiety and depression for no reason. Like, my life is good. I'm so tired all the time and I barely do anything. I can't think straight. I'm brain foggy. I have swollen lymph nodes in my armpit, all of these things. And at this time in 2017, I was 34. I was like, I'm just going to go and schedule my explant surgery consultation and like get this done with. And so he's like, okay, cool. He has supported me since day one. And for that, I'm so grateful because I've heard some really, really heartbreaking stories about this just destroying relationships and couples. So I went and I did my explant surgery consultation. And I want to share with you a really cool story. This is one of the most spiritual, odd, but so cool. Like, I still can't believe this happened to me. Like, when I hear this story, if somebody else would have told that to me, I would have been like, really? But anyways, I scheduled my explant surgery consultation and I scheduled my original explant surgery with an explant surgeon down here in Florida named Dr. Rankin. And he was 4 months out at the time. I think right now in 2022, he's probably like a year out, if I had to guess, maybe 9 months, 10 months out, but he's like really far out now. And so I scheduled my explant surgery and it was scheduled for November. So I had to wait 4 months. And during this time, I felt like my anxiety was getting so bad. I was just like, I want to get this done with. I was getting so impatient and I just knew what these implants were doing to my body. I just wanted to get it over with. I was tired of like worrying and thinking and having this consume me. And Dr. Rankin has a colleague, or had a colleague, I don't know if they're still colleagues, named Dr. Dev. And he now works in Miami, Florida. And I was like, I think I want to have a consult with Dr. Dev because I know he can get me in sooner. And I just want to get this done with. Like, I just want to get my life back. So I was actually scheduled to have an explant surgery consultation with Dr. Dev on a Friday. But a week earlier, I asked the universe. I went outside and as I was taking my dog out, and I looked up and I said, all right, if I'm supposed to go with Dr. Rankin, show me a raccoon. Whether it's in person or on TV, just show me a raccoon. And if I'm supposed to go with Dr. Dev, show me a deer. It could be in person or it can be on TV, but just show me a deer. And I live in Florida. The chances of seeing a raccoon far exceed the chances of seeing a deer. And so a couple days went by, I would guess like 3 or 4 days went by, and it was a Monday, and I was supposed to have my explant surgery consultation with Dr. Dev that Friday. I woke up that morning to my son laying next to me, because he always comes in our bedroom in the morning, and he turned on America's Funniest Home Videos, and there was a deer on the TV. And he's like, Mom, look at this. Oh my God, this is so funny. And it was a deer. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go with Dr. Dev. 20 minutes later, because I'm scrolling Instagram, I know it's really bad, but I was scrolling Instagram and I was looking through stories, and Dr. Dev's patient coordinator posted a story and said, Dr. Dev has a surgery date open for this Thursday. If you want to take it, you know, the patient didn't check out or whatever, here's the number, call me. I woke my husband up and I was like, honey, Dr. Dev has a surgical opening this Thursday. It's in like 3 days. And I just saw a deer on TV, and that's the universe telling me that I'm supposed to go with Dr. Dev. And now I have like this opportunity to go with Dr. Dev, and I like need to trust the universe, you know? And he was like, you know, basically at the time, he was like, you got to go with Dr. Rankin. He's like one of the best. He's done more explants, this and that. That's just like how my husband is. That's how men are. It's like, just wait and go with the best. And like for me and for us, when we're sick, it's like, we just want to get in early and get this done with. So I had to tell him, like, I trust my gut. This is my intuition. I asked for a sign. I got my sign. And then 20 minutes later, this story comes through with like an opportunity for me to trust the universe, right? And so we talked back and forth for maybe like 30, 45 minutes. And then I called Beatrice and I was like, hey, you know, is that opening still available for this Thursday? Can he do an explant surgery? And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it. And so I woke up thinking I'm still 4 months out from surgery, and I woke up and I was like 4 days out from surgery. So crazy. And I'm so happy that I jumped on that opportunity, because I got 4 months of my life back, right? So after my surgery, so much changed. Like my life did not look or feel the same. So my hip joint pain completely went away since the day of my surgery. Been completely gone. Anxiety and depression bouts, gone. My eyes, better, but I've always had, you know, not the best vision, but it's definitely better. My hair is growing back now, and it's long and it's strong and it's thick, and I barely lose any hair when I shower. Now what's going on with this now that I'm, you know, realizing it, is it's more cyclical, and it's something like more along the lines of fibrocystic breasts, because it always happens like a week before my period. It gets really tender. And then like 2 days into my period, it goes away. And then, you know, that whole thing. So I'm still dealing with that, but again, that's more hormonal and everything. Gasping for air is gone. Like everything is gone. Not just better, not just like improved and like I'm better, gone. I will say I did have a rocky recovery, because right after my explant surgery, within like 6 hours of being home, I got my period. And I wasn't supposed to get my period for like a week. I actually have a video on here about like some things that could happen unexpectedly after your explant that happens to like a lot of us, and we don't know why, and getting your period early is one of them. So I woke up from my explant, and you know, of course I'm already sore and groggy from that, and then I get my period, so I'm like extra groggy and extra tired, and then I broke out in these really red rashes, itchy red rashes underneath my armpits that lasted for like 2 weeks. So I was dealing with that, and then I was tired and stuff. But I will say, at like the 5-week mark after my explant is when I started to noticeably just feel so different. I had so much energy. I was thinking crisp. And then of course by 5 weeks, like I'm like, oh my God, I haven't had any hip joint pain. This is amazing. And I felt so happy. I felt like I got my personality back. I felt like me again. And I'm very small. I expected to be flat, but I'm small, and I'm okay with that, because for me personally, I just did not feel good. I just wanted to feel better. I really didn't care about what I looked like. I mean, like, of course, I don't want to have like weird scars and like, you know, however you would think like bad breasts might look after an explant. Like, I didn't want to look like that, but I was okay with being small. And, you know, so much has changed and improved. I created my Facebook group. I think like I created my Facebook group like right around the time I started to feel good, because I couldn't believe how good I felt. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm my own testimonial, right? I've been reading all these stories about women explanting and feeling good, but like, I am living it. And so I knew that I wanted to write blogs, and I wanted to create videos, and I wanted to share my story, and I wanted to educate women about breast implants and about breast implant illness and how to prepare for and how to recover from an explant surgery safely and properly. And back then, years ago, and a little bit now too, you couldn't promote your blogs and your videos inside of other groups. So I'm like, even if I did write my own blogs and my own videos, I'm not going to be able to really share them anywhere, right? So I was like, I'm just going to create my own community. And that's what I did. And I started to educate women, and we are one of the most, my Facebook group is one of the most active and engaged Facebook groups on Facebook. You know, I think I'm like maybe within the top 5 of the largest groups on Facebook, and so active. I show up in my group. It's not just like a Facebook group where it just kind of runs itself. Like, I'm a very active and engaged admin as well. I've created so much for this community, and I love what I do. I love you guys and who I help every day. It's what keeps me going. And my main why of like why I'm so passionate about this and why I love this and why I'm so dedicated to breast implant illness education and explant surgery, like preparation and recovery, is because when I was going through all this, I felt so alone. I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on with me, but I just knew like I didn't feel good, and I didn't know why. And so I don't want anybody else to feel the way that I felt. And that's like the big thing, the big reason why I do this. So, you know, it's been 4 years now since I explanted, and I'm still doing great. I still feel really good. I had a hiccup with the C word, like a lot of us have, you know, and that kind of triggered my Epstein-Barr virus last year. But besides that, feeling really good still. And, you know, I did have a detox flare at my 4-month mark, and I think I had one around my 1-year mark. And basically a detox flare is just like when your body, it just releases all of the toxins kind of really fast at one time. And it can leave you feeling extra fatigued, extra brain foggy, joint pain, irritable, having trouble sleeping, stuff like that. But then it goes away anywhere from like 1 week to like 1 month if you're just like really sick and you're really needing to recover. But you know, besides that, I've had a really smooth recovery, and I am really happy at the end of the day that I removed my breast implants. They're sitting right back here. These are them. And I don't think I mentioned it in this video, but I had 420 cc silicone smooth under the muscle by Allergan. And yeah, I mean, that's my story in a nutshell, my update in a nutshell. I can't believe it's been 4 years, but here we are, and going strong, and, you know, happy to be here for anybody and support anybody regardless of what you want to or don't want to do at this time. So I'm just here to support you and educate you and empower you to make the best decision for you. So if you have any questions about my story, if you want to join my Facebook group, anything like that, definitely comment down below and let me know if my story is very similar to your story, because I hear it all the time. Like, oh my gosh, you know, my BII was also triggered by my pregnancy. And I thought it was from hormones, and I thought it was from the pregnancy and this and that. And I actually have a video on here of the 8 common things that women have said triggered breast implant illness. So you might want to check that video out and check any other video out on this channel to help you, just know about this a little bit better without any fear mongering, without any pressure or shame or judgment attached to anything. I'm literally here just to educate you, share my story, share my truth, my experience, and nobody can take that away from me, and nobody can take that away from you. So I'll see you on the next video, and thank you so much for sticking around and watching this whole thing. Love you. Bye.